you wanted the best, you've got the best podcast, the hottest podcast in the world. The Chris Voss Show, the preeminent podcast with guests so smart you may experience serious brain bleed. The CEOs, authors, thought leaders, visionaries, and motivators. Get ready. Strap yourself in. Keep your hands, arms, and legs inside the vehicle at all times, because you're about to go on a monster education roller coaster with your brain. Now, here's your host, Chris Voss.
I'm host Voss here from the ChrisVossShow.com. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. There are latest things that makes it official. Welcome to the big show. As always, the Chris Voss Show. Family loves you, but doesn't judge you as harshly as the rest of the world, because you're here trying to learn, trying to be better, trying to get knowledge and all that good stuff. Some of you just are here for the funny jokes I tell, which aren't funny at all. They're just dumb. Anyway, go to goodreads.com/Chris Voss, LinkedIn.com/Chris Voss, Chris Voss One, the TikTok, and all those crazy places on the internet. Today, we're joined by a wonderful young lady. We're going to be talking to about some of her experience in marketing and some of the things that she does. We have Jenny. Jenny, give me your last name so I don't hit this wrong.
Delaitre.
Delaitre. You say it much better than I would. You have that joie or whatever. I'm trying to do French, but it's not working.
That's okay.
I think people know what I mean. Anyway, you have the class. There you go. So Jenny is joining us. She's the founder and CEO of VDS Digital Agency and the creator of UX Marketing. It's a new approach that puts user experience at the heart of marketing. Instead of chasing clicks and hacks, she helps brands design a marketing user journey that feels effortless, trustworthy, and genuinely helpful. Who thought that should be a thing? Shouldn't that be a thing? I don't know. It should be. Trustworthiness and helpfulness in business. Every cable company needs that at this point now. Through the UX Marketing Institute, she is setting new standards for marketing that respect the user and build long-term loyalty. Jenny, welcome to the show. How are you?
Thank you. I'm very good. Thank you for asking.
Thank you for coming. We certainly appreciate you being on the show. Give us your .coms. Where can people find you on the interwebs and get to know you better?
Sure. So you can find me on vdsdigitalagency.com or on LinkedIn. I use my Monday name, so I use Virginie Delaitre on LinkedIn.
There you go. What's the origin of that name? Is it French? It sounds French.
I am French.
So, yeah, that's why I'm asking.
French. Yeah, it is French because I am French. So I was born in France and raised in France. So, yeah, I do.
I was just having a wonderful morning here, and it's glad to have you guys on. So give us a 30,000 overview of what you guys do there.
Yeah, sure. So we are a full stack marketing agency. So we do marketing for clients. I work, for example, for people who are PCSing in the US military, a brand called Must Wants. I work for some doctors in my area. So I have really various clients, but what I'm promoting here, and that's why I'm here for the show, is like having all these clients, I realized marketing was a lot about advertising and not a lot about actually the journey on how you discover a brand. I mean, as I say, it should be. Some people are already doing it, but I was just like, we need to do it better, and we need to sort of create a framework for that. So that's why I created UX marketing, which is basically very easy user experience marketing. That's what I do now.
Why do you call UX a new type of marketing?
Sure. So basically, I call UX a new type of marketing because a lot of people are doing UX. A lot of people are doing user experience. A lot of people are doing UI. It's really something very popular, but most of the time they do that for a website or they do that for the product itself. Not a lot of people are actually bringing this knowledge of the experience and how you engage with users to marketing. So I was just like, okay, it's very easy. Why don't we blend them together so the experience come before you actually become a client in the whole marketing process? And that's sort of what people want now, because people are getting a little bit like, I don't know, they don't really like when you push them to buy a product, and they like to know you better before. So they want this experience. Everyone wants this personalized experience with a brand.
There you go. And Why does that make being trustworthy and human? Why does that engender better sort of better sort of brand loyalty from clients?
Yeah, sure. And that's a really important thing because I'm going to introduce a new word. I mean, the words that everyone wants to hear, like AI. So, artificial intelligence makes things really easy right now. You can sort of do everything with it, but the problem that it creates is like having AI everywhere. Brands are just using it a little bit too much, and people are afraid of it. So there is a lack of trust. So returning to the human touch is actually how you bring back the trust. Because if you do too much AI and automation, people don't trust you anymore. If
Hmm.
it makes sense.
Yep. Yep. And so tell us about your journey through life. How did you get into marketing? How did you grow up? What were some of maybe your influences, stuff like that?
Yeah, actually, that's funny because so I grew up in France. I had my own design. So I started my career doing mobile apps. It was a time
Mm.
of the iPhone was brand new. So it was like 12 years ago, and I was in France, and I was just like, oh, I want to do mobile apps. So that's how I started. I was very technical, learning about user experience, like because the mobile apps we had this little screen. It was brand new, and we had
Mhm.
to put some things that we had on a big screen on a very small one. So a lot of design issue. And then after I moved my career to really being a designer, because at first I was a developer and a designer, and then I was just like, I prefer design. So I moved toward being a designer. I know. And then I become, so it's very funny, but my degree are in interior design. So I really study design with a big D, like interior design. I study architecture, and then slowly I was just like, yeah, I'm still missing the technical part. So I went back to doing like web and digital experiences with this whole background in design and being a developer. And when you bring everything together, that's why I created UX marketing, because at the end of the day, when you bring the technical aspect, the design aspect, and then also the link with people, because being an interior designer really learned me the psychology and understanding people. You bring that together, that's marketing. So that's how I got there. So 12 years of trying and experiencing and having multiple companies, and then I created that one 3 years ago, and now this is where I am.
Nice. That is awesome. So
Thank you.
some
That's
people
crazy,
find
right?
their if I'm yeah, everyone has to kind of find their place in life and what they like and what what motivates them, what turns them on, makes them show up for work every day and go, yeah. I've definitely lived my life in businesses that I wasn't excited about. And it's hard to show up and
It's
and
hard.
you're like, oh God, this again. But when you have something you love that you enjoy, it makes all the difference. Now you talk about the AI driven world. How is
Yes.
brands are going to be able to stay human in this AI world, especially when like some of the artwork. There's kind of an interesting concept of AI. You've probably heard of it. It's called I believe it's called the something Valley. Um, but it's a term where we understand when we visually see something from a biological aspect that something is fake, and when we see someone
Mm,
that is fake we see that as dangerous to us because
okay.
there's an attempt to fool us. Uncanny valley is the term, and I don't know what your thoughts are on some of that and how to stay human in an AI driven world.
That's very interesting. Yes, because that's the problem with this AI generated images. And I know ChatGPT went really far, and now we can generate images that they say it's almost unrecognizable. But I think there is a little part of us
Hmm.
that knows it is not real. And you're right, it can be frightened because you see something that seems real, but that's not, and you
Hmm.
start to doubt, and that's also where you sort of lose the trust because you doubt the company, you doubt them. You're like, okay, what I'm seeing maybe is not real. Maybe they don't, maybe they are not real people. Maybe they don't really do
Hmm.
that. And we have been like, we receive scam for so long, and it's sort of we are afraid of scam and being like, especially when you put money in a company and in a product,
Hmm.
you bring your money in it, so you want to make sure that this is something real. So you're right, there is this fear. So the way we can counter that is basically with storytelling. It's
Hmm.
by telling the story of your brand. Instead of showing only the final result, you can show how you got there. And that's an AI cannot do that. You are the only one who can do that. So for example, with my clients, when they go to an event, I make them taking pictures of them, of the people they work with, of their partners, and by showing the backstage, the backstory, that's how you sort of like, you can keep using AI for doing blog articles or helping you writing, but then the story, it cannot be like, it has to be real. And that's how you counter it. I think storytelling is the answer.
There you go. Storytelling is so important. We talk about that on the show. But yeah, for those who are unaware, the uncanny valley is a phenomenon where an object's appearance and behavior that is almost but not quite human triggers a negative human response emotionally, often a sense of unease or revulsion. And I'm starting to see this more. I'm starting to see ads from companies that use AI and AI bots, if you will, or visuals, or a woman or a man talking in a robotic sort of sense. You can tell it's interesting how smart our brains are, but sometimes that can step into the issues of trust and that feeling. The uncanny valley refers to this weird thing where you're like kind of flight or fight mode. You see weird AI stuff that's now being incorporated into ads. I see it in dating, these filters that people can put on that make them look like freaking cartoons, and somehow that's becoming a norm too. And then when you meet these people in real life, you're just about to jump out of your shoes. But it seems like the people that use them the most are the people you never want to meet in person and find out that you got catfished. But the same thing's happening, I think, in AI with business companies. If they've got to be careful how they utilize trust, and whether or not maybe AI images are destroying that trust or interfering with that trust.
Yes.
If you're creating that uncanny valley, a lot of people don't realize what it is. I didn't realize what it was until we had someone on the show come on and talk about AI and the uncanny valley concept. And I was like, that's why I feel weird. That's where I get fight or flight mode. I feel that something's funny and off. And so that's a real big deal, I think, for marketing nowadays, and what marketers have to ask themselves maybe.
Yeah, no, I totally agree, because the problem with marketing is it costs money and nobody sort of want to put this money in. So when they see AI tools, they are like, this is so fast. We can do everything without a team. We just, instead of having a photographer taking a picture or buying a picture, we can just generate one and it's done. The problem is, you're right, is like some people don't ask themselves. The problem with marketing, some people don't put themselves in the shoes of the person actually seeing the ad enough. They were like, oh, we want this. It's like a company wants things. We want users. We want to sell our product. But they have sort of to return the thought and say, what the user are seeing, are they seeing something they want to engage with? And you're right, these feelings can be sometimes, I don't like it, and sometimes you don't even know why you don't like it. But you don't. And if you don't like it, you're not going to engage with this company. So I think, yeah, you're right. It's very important, especially in the marketing aspect, because when you are already a client, you can let things go. I mean, if the company you already work with do some AI, you're just like, yeah, I'm not doing that with them. It's just their marketing. But if you don't know them yet and you want to try to engage, that's when you shouldn't. You say dating is the same. It's like when you're not engaged with the person yet, you're more careful of all that. You're just more careful of all the little things. And one thing can be like I'm going to use a French word, I don't know the translation, like a faux pas, something that a mistake. And then if there is this mistake, it can be enough for just like running away.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I totally agree. I think for marketing, it's even more important, because when you are already a client, there are things you can just let go. But when you're not a client yet, and they start doing that, you can say, okay, I'm not trusting them. And that can destroy that can destroy contract, or people can avoid signing proposal, because of that.
Oh, yeah. And now tell us about some of the services that you guys offer there at the VDS, your digital agency.
Sure. So basically what we do is, so I don't have a lot of clients. I'm really like, when I work with the clients, we do everything. So that's why I cannot take on board like 100 of them. But when I onboard a new client, I really first work on this marketing strategy. We try to understand what is already in place and where we want to go. So I work with them, so they have a brand. Most of the time I don't do branding, I take their branding, and from that we try to figure out who are their clients, what their clients wants, and where can we find them. And then we start building the strategy around it. And when I say the strategy, it can be social media. I do a lot of social media marketing. We can do email marketing, we can do print, we can do like going to events. And I'm really doing that for depending on who is the client and where are the user we are trying to target. Because the mistake I think a lot of people do, they want to be everywhere, which is good, but also it's a lot of energy. And do you have to be on TikTok if you don't do videos? Sometimes it doesn't make sense to be in some places. And by targeting and really be there where we should, it's how we build like better marketing, I think.
Definitely. You have on your website several different VDS AI tools. Tell us about
Yes.
some of the stuff you have there.
So it's something new. So I didn't have it. Actually, it's just the first time I'm going to talk about it in video because it just appeared like a month ago. I created 3 tools right now that I'm using with my clients. You have to connect to use them, but basically there are tools to create social media posts. So one is to create a series of social media posts, or one social media post, or a blog article. The way it works, so actually I can tell the backstage of that. It is an N8N. That takes the data you put in. So it's just a little form. You put the name of the company, what you want for the social post, and then who is actually the target, if it's B2B, B2C, and what you want the CTA for. And then behind that, there is a full like workflow on the N8N, which is an AI tool, if you ever heard about it, that take all that and create a social media post that is exactly how it should be, like well written, with a nice CTA, and you can just copy and paste it. So that's something I use every day. I create all my social media posts like this. It's very fast, and because there's this full workflow and it's an AI agent that I pre-configure, it's a little better than just a random chat GPT.
There you go.
So
yeah.
It was a little bit of work, but I did that, and it's running on my own server. So I have these 3 tools. For now, I have only 3, but I'm working on improving them.
There you go. And so what makes it helpful about using the AI to make your posts? What is the benefit of that?
Well, the benefits I found since I've started using that is that first we can react faster, because the problem with social media is it's always time. When a client gives me an information, I have to take that information, then we have to do the design of the post, we have to do the content of the post, and then we have to post it on social media. It sounds easy when you are alone with your social media, but you have to imagine that a company like me has probably between 40 and 50 social media accounts. So this is not something we can do like on the spot. We have to plan ahead. So having this tool really help us to make sure we are consistent first, because the posts are always made the same way, whoever is doing it. So we have this consistency across all like platforms. And also we can react a little faster than we were in the past.
Yeah. There you go. And so, a lot of, is there a certain minimum that your clients need to have, a certain ad spend that they need to have for spending for their
Yes,
advertising when they work with you?
that's a really good question. So it's hard to say. Like, I think I start working with like 1,500, which is a really low budget. My majority of clients are more than that. When I say that, is per month. So it works. It's a monthly budget, because marketing is like constant. It never stops. So I like working with my clients with a monthly budget. I will say starting point is like 1,500. And with that, for a small company, we can already do a lot of things. And then my best clients are more like around 3,000, 4,000 a month, because we try to really like nourish, I will say, a lot of things. So it depends the size of the company, but I think it's still very affordable, because when you think about it, like if you put 1,500 and you sell at least like 1 or 2 products a month just with marketing, it's covered. So it's pretty low. I work really low budget, I will say.
There you go. There you go. So how can people reach out to you? How can they onboard? How can they find out if they're a fit and work with you in the future?
Sure. So the best way is to go to vdsdigitalagency.com. You have my email there, and you have also a contact form. And my email is really easy. It's Virginie@vdsdigitalagency.com. So really easy to find. And then I'm going to do a first meeting with them to understand their needs and see if it's a match. Uh, there is a personality match. We need to be able to work together, and then there is also a brand match. Seeing if what they sell works with my principle. Most of the time, it does. As I say, I work for healthcare company. I work for mobile apps company. I work for a company who are like doing CSing for US military. So it works for really a lot of things. I have some tech company. I have a company called Cloud Atlas, and they do something really that is a little bit above my skill, but they try to help company getting in the cloud marketplace. So really technical. So I can work with many people, but we really need to have a fit, like I will say personality fit and the way we work together. So that's the steps. First step is the meeting with me, we discuss, and then if there is a fit, we can start working pretty quickly.
There you go. Well, it's been very insightful to have you on. Give us your final pitch out. Tell people how they can onboard with you, reach out, et cetera, et cetera.
Well, I mean, the final pitch is that is like if you are interested by what I do and by UX marketing, I'd say get in touch with me on LinkedIn or by email. This is really the best way to get in touch with me. LinkedIn, just send a message, ask for connecting, and then by email, Jenny@vdsdigitalagency.com. Once we are connected, we can do a quick meeting and start chatting on how we can really work together. And very important, I do only marketing. It's really what I'm focusing on, and I do marketing for users. So user experience marketing, really user-centric marketing. So if you are interested by that, I'm the person to go to.
There you go. Well, thank you very much, Jenny, for coming on the show. We really appreciate it. We've learned a lot.
Yeah, it was very interesting, and I also learned a lot, so thank you for that.
There you go. Thanks, Smiles, for tuning in. Go to goodreads.com/Chris Voss, LinkedIn.com/Chris Voss, Chris Voss1 on the TikTok, and all those crazy places in it. Be good to each other. Stay safe. We'll see you next time.